which is
Hmm.
Fantasia.
Sure, yeah. Rock and roll. Let's go into Fantasia, a
Uh,
movie that I had never seen.
mhm. I had effectively never seen it because I only remembered bits and pieces of The Sorcerer's Apprentice from when I was 3.
Right, which is like such a small part of the movie. I think I had seen also like pieces of Sorcerer's Apprentice just because it's like it's kind of the thing from this movie that has lasted the most and has sort of like stayed in like the Disney iconography the
Very much
most.
so. Yeah, it is. It's the thing that has been transposed in a lot of other places. We can talk about this a bit more in a second, but it is in Fantasia 2000, the sequel from the year 2000. Uh,
Which I've also not seen.
uh, and yeah, it just shows up places. I think the old like clamshell puffy white VHSs that Disney used to have, part of their
Mm,
sort of like
classic.
corporate branding involves the scene from The Sorcerer's Apprentice where he's lifting the ocean out of the
Mhm.
water. So that imagery was definitely
Also,
set
just
in
Mickey
there.
Mouse with like the wizard hat. I feel
Yes.
like is very just like classical. That's almost just like, oh yeah, Mickey Mouse just wears a wizard hat sometimes. Like that's just like part of his character. But yeah, I don't know. I was a little surprised at like how much of kind of this is a weird movie in that I think it is really trying to recreate kind of the experience of seeing like a live event or a live show.
Hmm.
With sort of like right, it opens with like orchestra tuning and like all of the musicians walking out onto, a stage.
Yeah.
And it has this narrator guy that will sort of like explain what each of the sort of segments are before they happen, which we got to talk about that guy. I feel like, I don't know, it was a little, at times I was like, just let us see it, like you don't have to explain it this much.
Right.
um but and also just some of the explanations, we'll get to it in a second. But Yeah, because I always knew that this. I remember always knowing about this movie. Like I grew up with a lot of classic Disney VHS clamshells.
Right.
Um, I feel like most of the sort of like I don't know 40s through 90s uh, Disney classics were I had seen in some form, right, as
Mm.
a kid growing up.
Hmm.
I had never seen any of this outside of, yeah, maybe like clips in other things of Sorcerer's Apprentice. And I kind of, even though I think this movie rules and I like it a lot, I understand why it isn't like a childhood favorite for a lot of people.
One of my takeaways from watching it effectively for the first time is, and thinking to how none of it really made much of an impact on me when I was a kid, was like,
Mm.
this is not for kids. Like it's
I
not a
think it is,
it's kid
but
it is more or less kid appropriate, but
yeah.
like this is a movie that is steeped in honestly like modern art, you know? It
Yeah, yeah.
is it's a
And
mo-
classical music.
and classical music. Like part of the mission of this movie was to take something that people find alienating and boring, which is classical
Hmm.
music, and making it more accessible. But the mostly uncompromising artistic vision of this movie is something that is not particularly friendly to children unless that child can happen to get on the right vibe, you know? Uh,
Another thing with that is like, right, I grew up watching Disney movies on VHS where it's like, we're in grandma's basement, whatever, throw on Lion King. All of them, all good.
mhm,
I think Fantasia is so explicitly designed to be seen in a theater
hmm.
in a way that none of those, I mean, all movies in the 40s and most movies now are designed to be seen in a theater, right? That is the intent of them.
Right.
But I still think the way that this is so sort of like trying to create this atmosphere of like, oh, we're in a theater right now.
Yeah, it's kind
We're
of like
we're
like
watching people on stage.
it's kind of turning movie theater into somewhat of a replication of a classical music, you know, auditorium, right?
Right. But it's like Fantasia is the kind of thing that you like get dressed up and like go to a place to see. Whereas
I
I
would
feel
love
like
to do that.
I would love that so much. But like I feel like just watching this at home or like watching this on VHS would just be sort of like it would feel off,
Hmm.
you know?
Well, I will say that I watched this twice in the last 2 months. I kind of snuck ahead a little bit and watched it a little
Mhm.
bit just because I happened to be in front of me. And the first time
Yeah.
I did watch it on VHS, there was a tape in front of me, and I
Really?
was like, like it's the right aspect ratio. Let's put it in, you know.
Yeah.
And it blew me away. It was incredible. Like I was
Mm.
beside myself with how good this movie is. I walked out of the movie thinking you can pack it in. You're never going to make a better, like there's never going to be a better Disney movie than this, you know. Uh I- it is very different from every other Disney movie, but I think it is a movie that is serious and real in ways that other Disney movies are not, you know. This, like I
Yeah.
was saying, this feels like it is steeped in the art world.
Yeah.
It's a movie that is,
More than anything else about it, it feels like it is art.
yeah, it's like fairy tale stories are nice. Disney animation in their fairy tale stuff is nice. It's good. It's great.
Mhm.
But like this is this is an advocate, this is like a manifesto for the artistic power of animation. Uh
Mm.
and
Yeah.
it is using a sort of more established medium, a more respected medium, I think, to like kind of elevate animation in people's eyes up to the level of something
Hmm.
serious like classical music. But then also part of the mission was to take classical music and make it more accessible to people through animation. And what it does is this synesthesia basically in this movie.
Mm.
It is using abstract animation that was very specifically inspired by some of those German abstract animators that we've covered on the podcast.
But I definitely thought of those, but it was specifically inspired by those.
Yes, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it makes a lot of sense for
Partially,
sure.
there's another animator, or there's another German animator who started work on this movie, and he came around later than the opuses and the
Mhm.
rhythmuses, but like it was all part of the mix of inspiration on this movie.
Mm.
And that was like art stuff. That is abstract art, and a lot of this movie, particularly in the beginning, is full abstraction. It is taking the sounds of music and physicalizing them into light and shadow and color and shape. It's fantastic
Mm.
without
Yeah.
being too like up its own butt, you know?
Right. It's still just kind of like, for the most part, very kind of light and fun and jaw dropping to look at.
Yeah.
I do think if I had seen this as a kid, I probably would have been kind of baffled by it.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know what I would have made of this movie as a kid. I think I mostly would have been like confused.
Right. Because
But I don't know. I might have loved it. Who's to say?
it's like more or
Um,
less 0% narrative, this except for the
right,
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
right. That's definitely, and that's like barely a narrative, but that's definitely the most narrative heavy part of it. There's also the sort of like the like earth cooling and like life evolving and like dinosaurs and that kind of thing. Which I was during that I was like, how come I didn't watch this as a kid? It's got dinosaurs in it. Like I would have
Well,
loved
they're
this.
packed into the back half of the movie.
Sure, but then also like the dinosaur segment is like very kind of dour,
Yeah,
right? It's like a T-Rex eats a Stegosaurus and it's like sad.
especially
It's
because
like
Stego's my favorite.
there you go. It's the state dinosaur of Colorado. And then it's sort of like the narrator guy is like, we don't know what happened to the dinosaurs, but they might have all just like starved to death because there was a drought, pretty much.
It's
This be
this movie is pre-asteroid theory.
pre-ast I mean, asteroid theory might have existed, but I guess it wasn't as sort of like as widely accepted as like we all agreed this is what happened, right? And there's the extended segment of like all the dinosaurs looking for water and like all the water drying up and then like slowly like dehydrating and dying. It's like really it's really pretty rough. And so it is even for like a thing where it's like, oh man, animation, it's got dinosaurs. It's like, yeah, but it's like very depressing dinosaur stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think this movie is particular like necessarily definitionally not kid friendly, but it's got like scary imagery in it. It's 2 hours
Mm,
long. It doesn't
yeah,
have a story. It's like it's very
right.
abstract. It's like if your kid can get on the vibe of classical music and shapes and colors, and they grew up on AI generated iPad videos, then like maybe
Ugh,
maybe but yeah, I mean, this movie has not exactly, but like Satan in it,
right. Mephisto, right? Because in Faust, it's not actually
It's
the devil, right?
Chernabog. Uh, s-
Oh, whatever. He's a big guy with horns and wings and stuff.
yeah.
I definitely noticed some Murnau influence, especially in that segment.
Yes. Yeah. Very direct, like
I mean that is
Faust.
like basically lifting images from Faust almost directly. Real quick thing with the dinosaurs, there when introducing that or like talking about the dinosaurs, the narrator guy, the sort of he's not the conductor, he's like the I don't know what to call the guy.
The MC. He's a music
The
critic.
MC, yeah. Um, he's describing right. It's like, oh, there were various kinds of dinosaurs. Most were vegetarious, which I don't think is a real word. I think herbivorous maybe is the word he was looking for.
It's
Um,
Dinosaur Correction Corner with Glenn.
it's not. It's vegetarian or herbivorous. There's no veg. I don't think vegetarius is a real thing, but I could be wrong. If vegetarius is a real word and you know this for a fact, get in the comments. And then he's saying like, oh, most dinosaurs, whatever. And then he's like, but some dinosaurs, they were like gangster dinosaurs. I'm like, whoa, hang on. They weren't. They 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 were
there's
carnivorous. They
there's nothing
weren't gangsters. They
there's
weren't.
nothing
They weren't like
organized
running.
about them.
Right. They weren't like running dice games in the back of a bar. Like I just find that so. But also the most 1940 way to describe what like a T Rex is. Like, oh, he's sort of a gangster dinosaur
Now I need an illustration of a T-Rex in a pinstripe suit.
with a Tommy gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think they're go back to their. I'm bouncing all over the place, but definitely some Murnau influence. Also, maybe some kind of Curtiz and or James Whale stuff,
Hmm.
especially in Sorcerer's Apprentice. Like there's a lot of silhouette stuff in that.
Hmm.
I
I mean,
forget.
Murnau does silhouettes too.
True. That's why it feels like less of like a direct kind of like Curtiz thing. I feel like there was something else that was like very James Whale esque, but I don't remember what it is now. This movie opens. I think the first segment they do is with the Nutcracker suite. Maybe it's the second one.
Yeah, the second one is Nutcracker Suite. The first is the Toccata and Fugue in D minor.
Right, which is in The Aviator when he's shooting
Hmm.
the dogfight in Hell's Angels.
That's right. Yeah.
And I kind of think that might be a Fantasia reference. Just because of like it's that part, it's like the music used in The Aviator is over like clouds and like things moving through clouds
Hmm.
in Fantasia, and then it's like in The Aviator, it's like that music starts as you see a plane like moving through clouds.
I can see
I
it.
don't know. I'm sure Scorsese loves this movie, so it seems likely that he was like Fantasia reference, put Fantasia in there.
I mean,
Um,
this movie is going hard from the very first moment, because if we're talking about that
yeah.
first part, the Toccata and Fugue in D minor, the first part is they're kind of like orienting you in to the animation, right? They're framing everything from this kind of it's as if you're walking into a theater and getting an
Hmm.
introduction and you're hearing the
Yeah.
strings and everything like that. But the way that it takes you from reality into cartoons is making
Hmm.
this is taking is making an incredibly stylized reality that is beautiful. It is so cool. it is taking these kind of like Busby Berkeley, like lavish, amped up
Yeah.
and in Technicolor Busby Berkeley tableaus of imagery and using it to make the light dance and the shadows multiply across the walls, and like someone hits the drum and it changes this color and then the next color. It is some of the coolest lighting I've ever seen.
I hadn't even thought about Buzz Berkeley, which makes I mean, I feel that's like weird because it feels like there is such a clear like Busby Berkeley influence on this movie. Yeah, I mean, even that's the thing is like I think I knew that there was some live action stuff in this. I didn't think I realized how much of it there was. But
Hmm.
like that stuff all looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like the lighting in those like live action things with the orchestra art is so good.
And the way that they
Like
like when they reintroduce the like come from the animation to the to back to the conductor, and the camera
mhm.
like just this dramatic motion toward the back of his silhouette while
Yeah,
he's making these like really dramatic like hand movements. It's so cool. It's so cool.
so good.
I just can't stop like gushing praise on this movie.
I mean, I'm right there with you. Like this thing is it feels weird that it took me this long to see it, but it's yeah, it's really I mean, I think my letterbox review of it is just the word breathtaking exclamation point.
Mhm.
Like that's my response. I'm just like this is incredible. This is just like such a symphony of you know, light and sound, whatever. It's I feel like it's easy to get kind of sound a little hyperbolic talking about it, but it does like it really I was like leaning forward watching all 2 hours of it. Like
Yeah.
I was really enraptured by this.
Well, and yeah, you say like a symphony of light and color. This is a
I mean, that's
movie that,
the most accurate description possible. It's literally a symphony.
right, like, they didn't use the word synesthesia, but like part of what the MC says is sort of the premise of doing this animation is to take what you might imagine in your head while listening to this
Mhm.
complex music and
Yeah.
then drawing it out, making it. And so they have a couple of different ways of understanding that. Some of that is a little more narrative, some of it is a bit more representational, some of it
So,
is
some
more.
of it is a horny centaurette dance.
And some of it is like abstract and non-literal. Like there's this like play in the movie between, not to like get all like art critic or whatever, but it's like there's this constant like playing between like literality and non-literality, and like representation and non-representation. And so you have these abstract things that are like these abstract shapes that are like evoking in their movement the movement of a bowstring or of a drum hit. And like that's on the more like the higher side of
Mhm.
non-representation. But then you've got like the kind of highly representational dinosaur sequence, but then like while like a horn blows, the lightning kind of fizzles with this in the same rate as the horn.
Mhm.
The world is forming itself to fit the music.
Right, it's like all the volcanoes are erupting in synchronicity with the music.
Yeah. And the way that they usher you into this is they make an almost animated reality through light and shadow.
Yeah, great.
Ah,
Love to see it. The centaurette thing was
yeah.
very weird and made me laugh because also the MC at the beginning is sort of like, and we're gonna see, you know, mythological creatures. We're gonna see centaurs, you know, half man, half horse, and we're gonna also meet the girlfriends, the centaurettes. And it's like, wait, what? Hang on,
Yeah, that was funny.
just so like it felt like such a I don't know, kind of 1940s in not as good of a way, but like very much just like, wait, what? Like, why would you do it that way?
When he's introducing the like origin of life on Earth like thing, he calls I don't remember if it was the dinosaurs or like proto mammalian things little crawling horrors.
Yes, exactly. Like, there's so many things that that guy says where I'm just like, "Wait, who wrote this? Like, who is this guy? Why are we listening to him?" Because it seems like he either doesn't either quite know what he's talking about or just has very strong opinions about certain things.
Steve Martin is that guy in Fantasia 2000.
Dang. I mean, that's exciting.
So it's a choice.
Yeah. Right, there's the whole kind of like Greek bacchanal segment
Mhm.
also, which I feel like was just full of just very silly, I thought very silly imagery, including the horny centaurette dance, which is just like what who's that Comedy Bang Bang character who's the like the he's like the guy who runs the Rockettes
I don't know that one.
show. And he's like, "Ah, it's a Christmas show, but we gotta put a little something in there for daddy." Yeah. And he's just like
Yes.
the worst, most like creepy like theater owner. And that's kind of what that felt like. It was like, we gotta put a little something in there to keep the fellas happy.
Including, a fish. There's a part that has an inexplicably sexy fish. Uh, and
I
it's like,
mean,
why did you
that's
make this choice?
that was just a thing that I guess all Disney movies from 1940 were required to do.
Yeah, that would have been
Um,
a good, segue. But
yeah.
there was what is it? One of the ones, from the kinda main sound from the part Dance of the Hours, which I only knew as "Hello Mudda, Hello Fada," like, 1950s novelty song or whatever,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh my god, like, that is a song, actually." It's,
Right.
I did not realize that the reference was a reference.
Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, a couple things.
Okay.
One is this is an AMV. That's I'm just gonna drop that there and then leave it. Uh,
Hard to argue against.
uh, another one is I want to talk about the Sorcerer's Apprentice a little bit, which
Okay, yeah.
like
It's true. We didn't really talk about it hardly at all.
I don't know if we need to get too much into. There are themes, and it's like it can have themes because it's less abstract and more narrative. But so this movie came out of The Sorcerer's Apprentice. The Sorcerer's Apprentice was going to be a Mickey Mouse short that was going to have this kind of musical element to it, and
Mm.
Disney was working with Leopold Stokowski on conducting the music for The Sorcerer's Apprentice. And The Sorcerer's Apprentice's budget got so way out of hand that they were like, we cannot release this as a short because it will just lose all of its money because the short can't make that much money. So they like Fantasia exists as a way of justifying the existence of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And so, it's all kind of in line with that. Uh, but I think it is elevated in many ways, right? Like I didn't know that when I first watched it. I didn't have that context when I first watched it. And I was like, what is happening right now where this art is getting interrupted by branding, you know? Like like it is this abstract, beautiful,
Sorry, that's just
amazing.
every Disney movie.
Right. Yeah, I mean now, right? But like I think that there are ways that I really like it because it does break up the abstraction. It is like a
Mhm,
different kind of thing that's nice in that like, it's more character animation, which and it's good character
mhm.
animation, but it is it feels it definitely sticks out more than the rest of the stuff. And it has it after it's over, a silhouette animated Mickey Mouse goes, "Oh, Mr. Stokowski, Mr. Stokowski," and he pulls on his
His
coattails.
tailcoat,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then shakes his hand, which is cool. It is cool. It's
Yeah.
well done. It's this mix of animation and live action that's done in a really effective way of blending these two worlds together, but it's also just stinks of branding, you know?
Well, I think it does because, like, Disney as a company is, like, so well known for that now, and that's, like, their whole deal.
Mickey Mouse was
I think
already their mascot, their
right,
icon, you
for
know?
sure. But I think that is something where it's like it feels a little bit more innocent in this movie, I think, than it would if like if that happened in a movie now, I'd be like, "Oh god, I hate this."
Yeah,
But it's like it's 1940, it was fine.
I got upset by it, but I think that there's a lot that contextually works for it, and so
Yeah.
I do like it in the movie, even though it is like this sub perfect thing in a perfect movie.
If Deadpool had come out, then I would have been upset.
Oh God. And then with the Sorcerer's Apprentice, it was the debut of a new design for Mickey Mouse. That was just like
Hmm.
he had pupils now, right? He
Ah.
had whites of his eyes with pupils in the middle instead of pupils like floating in a giant, 1930s animation space,
Mm.
right? And the last thing I'll say about this movie uh, is because I have to, because I'm the projectionist half of this podcast, is there is a part where, like, coming back from the intermission of the movie, the MC says, "Let me introduce you to like an unknown character here. It's the soundtrack, And so
Mm.
coming
Mhm.
out coming out from and it's like another kind of more abstract animation, but like grounded on this like real thing that I think a lot of people might not have had the context for fully understanding is it comes out
Right.
from the side of the frame
Mhm.
right where the
Yeah.
soundtrack is. It like I would love to
Right
see
where the physical soundtrack is on a strip of film.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you for clarifying that. Yes, if you're looking at a strip of film, the soundtrack bursts out of the literal place where the soundtrack is printed on the film that you can't see when it's being projected, which is so cool. It's talk about
Yeah.
meta and Deadpool. Like
Yeah.
it's
The
very
soundtrack is really the Deadpool of this movie.
it's so cool. Like, and it's almost like this kind of like it's like taking the form itself and making it the content. I don't know why this movie inspired me to get so artsy fartsy about all this stuff, but like, and so like as someone who looks at soundtracks on printed on film periodically,
Mm.
it felt really cool to have it like come from and then go back to its home sitting on the
Yeah.
side of the film.
I like how even, like, the soundtrack is kind of anthropomorphized. I'm
Yeah.
adding syllables in there, but it is, like right because the MC is, like, having a conversation with the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is kind of, like, moving around like it's a character. I think it's funny that it's a character that
Yeah.
isn't just it isn't treated as just this, like, piece of film technology or of, uh, conceptual thing. It's like, no, it has personality, it has intelligence.
And it's using its character to show the texture of different instruments.
Mhm.
So it uses color and shape of this kind of manipulated waveform to evoke like a bassoon or jazz drums or something.
Yeah.
So cool.
So last thing, on either of the two times did you watch this on Disney Plus?
Yes, the second time.
Did you get a disclaimer at the beginning being like,
I did.
"We
Yes.
know there's some insensitive stuff in here."
Yeah.
And then so I didn't know what it was gonna be. And so I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." And then the only thing that stuck out to me, the only thing that I was like, "Oh, I think this is what they're talking about," is the mushrooms,
Yeah.
which are animated to look kind of like Chinese
Well,
caricatures.
animated to the Chinese dance from the Nutcracker Suite.
Oh, see, I didn't pick
Uh
up on that
and
aspect of it either.
they have
I
slanted
guess that
eyes and they're bowing and stuff.
yeah, which see, I didn't realize that that's what that segment of the Nutcracker Suite was called because it felt like a complete non sequitur to me. It was like, or are they just throwing in some casual racism just because? I
Yeah,
guess they probably were,
it wasn't
but
until
it
I like looked that up that I was like, okay, there's a slightly a reason for this.
yeah, but it was that kind of thing where I was just like, wait, why? Like, what is the what is the justification here? And I think it was just that in 1940, to a primarily like white American audience, they were just like, that was considered amusing, I guess. I don't know. I was mostly just confused by it.
Yeah, I mean it is expressive. It is,
Right, it's giving human characteristics to, inanimate objects, but
Yeah, which is sort of the
yeah,
theme of that part of the Sugar Plum Fairies is like, they're taking flowers and other things and
yeah.
making them humanoid. I mean, the most current day offensive thing in Fantasia is not in it anymore. It's not in the Disney
Really?
version because there
Wait,
are
they is there a s th this movie is censored, you're saying? There is actually more Fantasia.
there are some like kind of racial caricature like Sambo type centaurs in the centaur
See,
part.
that's what I thought it was gonna like, I thought it was gonna be kind of more direct, kind of like racist caricature. Not that the mushrooms are good. Yeah, no, I have mixed feelings about that because I hate censorship very much, and at the same time, I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds gross."
But yeah, it is. I think that at least what's left in the movie is like kind of abstract enough that it doesn't pull away from it too much. Where like
Mhm.
having like the racial character, I was just looking it up. The racial caricatures in the movie were bad enough that they got rid of them in a 1969 re-release. So
Wow, okay. Yeah.
that they took the worst out, definitely.
Yeah. I also just find it slightly amusing when, like, you pull something up on Disney Plus and there is a thing that's just like, we know, okay, like,
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
yell at us."
there isn't consensus about how to deal with that stuff, and that is one way to do it.
I'm broadly supportive of doing stuff like that. Like, I think especially with movies or with like works of art. I hate things that just go away forever.
Yeah.
I think with stuff like I guess like statues could be considered works of art because they're sculpture, but also like I don't know. I think statues are kind of dumb, and that I don't think we should use statues as a like form of I don't know like cultural currency. I don't know, like well, I feel like there was a lot of uproar about
This
like
is a whole topic.
we can't get rid of the statues. I'm like, why do we want statues? Like, what's special? Who cares if statues exist? I don't care about statues.
I,
I
on
don't.
the whole, agree with you, except for the day that I spent in Madrid. I specifically went to go see the statue of Lucifer in their Central Park.
Hey,
That's cool.
is it like does it look like an angel?
It is depicting him falling from the sky.
Is it a biblically accurate Lucifer?
It is a not in the way that you mean, but a biblically accurate Lucifer.
Well, I guess if you were really gonna take it all the way, biblically accurate Lucifer would be like a weird eye monster with wings, right?
Right,
Falling
I
from
meant
the
not
sky.
in that way. Although apparently there's some kind of contention about like the meme of biblically accurate and how like whether those things that the wheel of eyes is specifically what they meant when they described angels in other scenarios. Like it seems like those eye
Right.
wheel things were a specific thing and then angels were just never really specifically talked
Well,
about.
I
This is getting very deep into something I don't know that much about.
right. I also think with a lot of mythology, there's things oh trolls, and it's like oh that isn't like a single like species of creature. That's just like a broad term for like a thing that isn't human. And
Mhm.
I'm guessing that probably depends on translation too, but like angel probably is kind of in that realm where it's like angels can be a lot of different stuff. Anyway, that's not what this podcast is about. We should probably
Yeah.
cut this all out because it is not relevant to what we're talking about.
The last thing is that it has a Bacchus slash Dionysus, who is the only like true humanoid character in it.
There's the
And
wizard, the
I get
sorcerer, I should say.
that's true, that's true. But he's even more he's I don't know, he's stylized in a way that doesn't make it feel that way, I guess.
Mm.
But like he looks like Captain Underpants and he drinks gay wine.
Yeah, well, there I did write down the this is the future that liberals want, and it during the scene when Bacchus is literally drinking rainbows. Yeah, it's great.
I think we could all stand to learn something from Bacchus.
Yeah, sure. There's also a bit where like a little cherub, a little sort of like Cupid, like turns away from the camera, and you see his butt, and then the butt turns into a heart.
Aw.
And that's the end of the scene.